What's up everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you've had a really good Christmas if you celebrate it. Mine was amazing. I wanted to just jump in and do a really quick demonstration really, or install guide for Nolvus. I know a few of you who are following my series on SKYRIM NOLVUS have asked how you go about installing it. Because there's so many different mods, because there's like over 2,000, I think it's kind of intimidating a little bit for some people who aren't maybe used to installing mods. But I'm here to kind of show you really how easy it is to do, and just kind of guide you really on how to do it. It's really straightforward, guys. It's really not difficult. So we're just going to take it step by step. It's going to be a really quick video, but I just wanted to kind of give you this so those people out there who weren't familiar, who weren't sure how to do it, can enjoy this mod pack for themselves, because I really do think it's worth downloading and playing. If you've played Skyrim before and you've completed it and you want to kind of get back into it, or maybe you just want to add a bit more life to an older game, this really is a mod pack that I really do highly recommend. It does all of those things and much more. There's loads of stuff in it that I'm not even fully aware of yet. In my next playthrough, I'm really going to try and look into all these different things that are actually included in this mod pack, because there's just so many that I'm actually having to kind of look through the mod list and kind of break them down and look into them a little bit deeper one by one. So that is something that I'm going to be doing in the next playthrough, so I hope you guys stick around and watch that. So let's just get straight into this, and I will try and sort of break this installation down for you step by step so you guys know what you're doing. So let's take a look. So the first thing you guys want to do really is go to the Nolvus website. That's as easy as that. It's as easy as typing in Nolvus in whatever web browser you use. It'll take you straight to their own website. On installation, what you're going to do is you're going to click here and download the latest Nolvus dashboard. And it will take you to this page. Just click the link, download link, and it will just automatically install the Nolvus updater. You see I've already done it. So once you've downloaded the Nolvus updater, what you need to do then is decide on what drive you're going to install this mod pack onto. It is highly recommended that you install this on an SSD, a solid state drive, just because of how quickly these drives run and because of the intensity of the mod pack. It is recommended that just basically to keep the loading screens short and to make sure that everything's loading in properly and that you don't have any complications, that you install this on an SSD. Once you've decided what drive you're going to install it on, you need to create a folder within that drive called Nolvus, and you're going to stick that Nolvus updater inside the Nolvus folder you've just created, because once you start the Nolvus updater, it will install all the files necessary into that folder. It will use that as the default location. Once you click it, it'll start a download process, and this is just going to basically install all the necessary files so you can install all the mods within this folder. Once it's completed, you can go ahead and close the Nolvus dashboard updater, and it will automatically load up the installation process. What you need to do next is to go ahead and locate where your Skyrim Special Edition installation directory is. So for instance, mine is on Steam, so I would locate my Steam folder and select the Skyrim Special Edition folder, and you go ahead and click OK. And then you can click Next. From here, what you need to do is you need to go to Nexus. If you haven't got one, you need to create an account, and then you need to get your API key from Nexus, and then you need to copy and paste it here. Once you click Next and you've entered in your API credentials from Nexus, what you need to do then is make sure that you've got an account in the Nolvus website. So create an account, and then from here you need to put your username and your password from your Nolvus account. Once you've done that, you're going to be presented with the main sort of options now to start the installation process for the mod pack. So this is where you can start selecting what resolution you're going to be using, and a bunch of other stuff that we'll go through in a little bit. So here, it's just telling you here the version that you're installing is Nolvus Ascension. That's correct, that's what you want. Your resolution, this is just my default resolution for my screen, 16:9, and English language. And you can go ahead and click next. Basically underneath it tells you the sort of the hardware requirements. As long as you've installed the initial installer in the folder that just has Nolvus, nice and short. This is basically just telling you to make sure that the installation paths are not too long. It's basically when the installer is installing all these thousands of mods, you don't want very long directories so the mods get confused and get put in different places. So you just need to keep it nice and short. Basically, if you've installed it and you've just installed it to a folder called Nolvus, the default path that it gives you here is absolutely fine. So you can go ahead and click continue. If you want to enable archiving, what this does is essentially, it takes a little bit longer to download and install, but what it does basically is it creates an archiving folder where all the mods are kind of saved in this folder. So if something does go wrong, you can kind of locate that mod and reinstall it. So if you want to, you can absolutely have that on. I've turned it off just because it's quicker, because you're not essentially having to download the mod again into the separate path. It also saves a lot of space on your SSD drive. So depending on how large your SSD drive is, will depend on whether or not you want this enabled or not. And then on the next screen, this is where you're going to dial in the graphic settings essentially, or how intense you want this mod pack to be. So the settings that I've got now on the playthrough that you're watching me play through now, I will show you what mine is now. So I had the variant I had is Ultra. So Ultra is everything maxed out. Redux is a slightly dumbed down version. It does tell you here on the right hand side, it does tell you kind of what everything means, but Redux is basically just a slightly less graphic intense version. I've got mine on Ultra, seems to run absolutely fine. Anti-aliasing, I've got DLAA, that only works if you've got an RTX Nvidia card. For the Skyrim INI profile, I've got everything on high. LODs, I had Ultra. I have advanced physics on, but I have global illuminations off. That's the only thing that I've switched off. Everything else is maxed out. This will save you 5 to 10 FPS. Now I've played this on and I've played it off, and there is a massive difference in stability and in FPS, in frames per second. So I have it off. I only have an RTX 2080 Ti. This recommends a much higher graphics card. I don't have that, but it does seem to run okay on the settings that I've got. So if you kind of have an RTX 2080 Ti or similar graphics card, or similar to what I have, then you're pretty sure that you can kind of replicate these settings and you're going to have similar performance to what you see when you watch my playthrough. Once you've set all that, you can go ahead and click continue. It'll tell you basically that some of the settings that you have selected cannot be undone once you go past this process, once you go past this point. So you can go ahead and just say yes that you want to continue. And then you've got a few more options. So you've got enable nudity, that's self-explanatory. Female skin type, whether you wanted them to be smooth or muscular. You've got hardcore mode. Dungeons are unleveled, enemies will be more aggressive, and use poise to stagger you. Sneaking is more difficult. So it's essentially just another level of difficulty on top of what you can set within the game. Alternate leveling, I've got that on. Basically what it does is it's a much more intricate kind of leveling process, where when you level up and you sleep, you have much more kind of fine-tuning of the abilities that you can upgrade. It's much more precise on the points that you can give for each ability. Alternate start is basically you don't start in the default way on the wagon. You start off basically in a room, and you can decide for yourself on the options of how you start, where you start, what items you start with, how much gold you start with, what items you start with, and you can kind of just customize the starting point of your character much more than you could if you started in the default setting. I turned it off so you basically start as you would in the original game, only because when I did use alternate start, it wouldn't trigger the main quest. Now, in order to trigger the main quest, you're supposed to wait until the first dragon spawns and kill it, and then the greybeards are supposed to summon you. Now, I did all that and nothing happened. I even went to where it all kicks off at the very beginning of the game. That's supposed to be another trigger for the main quest, but that didn't work for me, so I essentially had to reinstall the whole thing and turn off alternate start. So it's up to you what you want to do. It might work for you, but again, it does say that if you're new to the game, not to have this on, because then you won't get the kind of idea of what the game is about. So if you're new to the game, I'd recommend that you leave this off and you start as you would normally. Fantasy mode, I'm not entirely sure what this is, because I've just never used it, but from what I understand, it's a little bit more anime-esque in terms of the animations and the fighting style. So it's a little bit more over the top, a little bit more cartoony. That's not something that I'm necessarily interested in. I try to keep things lore friendly where possible. Now, there are lots of mods in this mod pack. Some of those can be a little over the top and slightly not within the kind of Skyrim or Elder Scrolls lore, but that's okay. You know, when you're installing 2,000 mods, you can't really pick and choose all that much. But I've decided to turn this or keep this mode off, so it's up to you whether or not you want to have that on. And then you can go ahead and click continue. This again will just ask you to confirm that the options here can't be changed once you go past this point. You just click yes. Here is your ENB setting. There's a whole list. I've gone with Picho or Picho. That's the default ENB that Nolvus kind of comes with. So that's the one I've picked. So that's the one that you see in my playthroughs. I don't know what these look like. I think there are versions of these on YouTube if you go and look them up, so you can get an idea of what these look like, but I've chosen the first one. This here tells you to change your page file size configuration. I'm not entirely sure why. It says that it improves stability and avoids crashes. I did it. It's not very difficult to do. Just literally follow the process of what they say here, or you can look it up on the internet. It's very easy to do. It's just a matter of changing a number in a setting, and it doesn't really do anything. Whether or not it helps, I'm not sure, but I did it just in case. And then you can click continue. It tells you that this is really important and basically tells you to do it, so this is the reason why I did it. So go ahead and do that and click yes. And then from this point, it basically tells you what download location you want to do. And I went with Nexus CDN because I'm a Nexus Premium member. You don't have to be a Nexus Premium member to download this, but if you're not a Nexus Premium member, you have to manually agree and confirm every single mod. And there's over 2,000. So you'd have to sit at your computer and manually say yes to every single time a mod is downloaded and installed, and it would take you Christ knows how long. If you are a Nexus Premium member, it automatically does this for you, so it's obviously, as you can imagine, much quicker. This is the only cost that you have to kind of have to play this mod pack. I mean, what you could do essentially, I suppose, is sign up. It costs you, I mean, it's really not very much. It's a few quid, few dollars. Sign up, download this, cancel your membership. The only thing is that once this gets updated, the same thing will happen. So you'd have to manually agree to all the downloads and all the updates, or you just choose not to update it. It's completely up to you. But if you are a premium member, you can choose Nexus, I think, CDN, and it might be a better download location. I'm not sure. If you're unsure, just click sort of a a city or a place that's closest to you. This is basically the last page that you'll see, and it's basically just telling you, this is highlighting all the changes and all the things that you've made. This is essentially just telling you all the changes and all the options you've selected, whether or not you're happy with them. If you're not, you can click previous, back to all the pages that you've seen to change whatever you need to change, or you can go ahead and click start and it will go ahead with the installation process. Now, it takes a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half for me to download them all. It's obviously going to depend on your internet connection and how fast your internet speed is. But mine takes me a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half before it's all finished. So once you've downloaded and installed and it's all gone through properly, you're going to be presented with this screen here. This is the Nolvus Ascension instance. They're called instances, and this is your new Nolvus Ascension instance. If you go ahead and click manage and click the instance button, it's going to come up with all the mods that have been installed. You want to kind of scroll through these slowly and just make sure that they all say okay in the status box. Make sure that it's all green. Just go ahead and scroll all the way down to make sure that it says that. I've got a couple of mods down here that aren't active, because you can install additional mods on top of this, and they just say that this isn't from the list, so this isn't what was downloaded from the default list of Nolvus, and that's fine. But once that looks all okay, you can click go back to instance and you can click play. This will go ahead and load the mod organizer, which all the mods are kind of filtered in through, and you just want to make sure that all these are kind of all okay, that there's no errors, and then you can go ahead and you can click run and that will play the game. You do need to make sure that if you've got this game running through Steam, that Steam is obviously running in the background. If you don't have it running in the background and you hit the run button, it will ask you if you want to start Skyrim through Steam, and it will load up your Steam automatically, and then it will ask you to press OK once Steam has loaded. And that, guys, basically in a nutshell is how you install Skyrim Nolvus. I really hope you found it useful. Like I said, it's not difficult to do, so I really hope that you kind of enjoy the adventures that this mod pack brings you all. It's such a fantastic mod pack. It adds so much variety and colour to the game, and kind of brings it up to kind of 2023 standards, I've got to be honest. It's really, really good. Thank you so much for everyone who is following my journey in Skyrim Nolvus and our series. Thank you so much for all the support and all the love and all the really, really great comments and suggestions and ideas that you guys have put forward. I really honestly do read them all. I do try and answer or kind of react to as many as I can. So please keep them coming. A new series, a new episode will be coming very, very soon. I've obviously just been busy with the holiday and being with family and stuff, but I am getting back into it soon. So I hope you guys join me for the next video. Again, thank you so much for supporting me and supporting this channel and getting us over the 500 mark. It really is a great achievement. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I really hope this video helps, and I will see you down the road in Skyrim. See you next time. Bye-bye.